No one talked about Pine Ridge Camp anymore. At least, not out loud. It was hidden deep in the forests of northern Oregon, far from cities, cell towers, and anything that reminded you of real life. No signal. No internet.
No parents.
Just trees, fog, wooden cabins, and silence that felt too heavy for a place meant for teenagers. That summer, 12 teenagers arrived by an old yellow bus that smelled like gasoline and wet seats. Most of them didn't want to be there. One Ethan. Ethan Miller sat by the window, headphones on, music low. He watched the trees blur past, counting the miles since his parents stopped speaking to each other. They sent him to Pine Ridge because it would be good for him. Fresh air. Discipline. A reset. Ethan didn't believe in resets. He believed in surviving. To Maya. Maya Rodriguez sat 3 rows ahead, arms crossed, eyes sharp. She wasn't afraid of the woods. She wasn't afraid of darkness. What scared her was people. She had learned that lesson the hard way back in Los Angeles. Rumors, screenshots, lies that spread faster than truth. Pine Ridge was supposed to be a place where nobody knew her past.
She planned to keep it that way.
3. The camp. The bus stopped. A wooden sign stood crooked at the entrance. Welcome to Pine Ridge Summer Camp. Disconnect to reconnect. Someone laughed nervously. The counselors didn't. There were only 2 of them. Mr. Harlan, tall, thin, expressionless. Ms. Green, quiet smile, eyes that never stopped watching. No phones, Mr. Harlan said immediately. Any devices will be locked away until the end of camp. Groans filled the air. Ethan handed over his phone without protest. Maya hesitated, then did the same. 4. The rule nobody explained. That night, after unpacking, they gathered around a campfire. The fire crackled. Shadows danced on the trees. Ms. Green spoke softly. There is only one rule you must never break. Everyone leaned in. Never leave your cabin after midnight. A pause. Someone asked, why? Mr. Harlan answered without emotion. Because people who do don't always come back the same. Laughter followed. But it died quickly. 5. Cabin 7. Ethan and Maya ended up in Cabin 7, along with 4 others. Jake, the class clown, always joking. Liam, quiet, athletic, always observing. Noah, conspiracy-obsessed, nervous. Emily, shy, wrote constantly in a notebook. The cabin smelled like old wood and dust. On the wall, carved into the wood, were words scratched deep. We heard them too. No one mentioned it. 6. First night. At exactly 11:58 p.m., a bell rang across the camp. Lights out. Silence. Ethan lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Then he heard it. A sound from outside. Not footsteps. Not animals. Something rhythmic. Like breathing. Too slow. Too close. From another bed, Maya whispered, "Do you hear that?" Ethan didn't answer. Because he did. 7. The whisper. At 12:03 a.m., the breathing stopped. Then came the whisper. Not loud. Not clear. Just one word. Repeated. Over and over.
Come.
Emily started crying quietly. Jake stopped joking. Liam sat up, tense. Noah whispered, shaking. I told you this place was wrong. The door handle moved. Just a little. Then stopped. 8. Morning like nothing happened. Morning came too fast. Birds chirped. Sunlight filled the camp. At breakfast, counselors acted normal. No mention of the night. When Ethan asked another group if they heard anything, they stared at him confused. No, one girl said. We slept fine. Cabin 7 exchanged looks. They all heard it. So, why didn't anyone else? 9. The missing kid. After lunch, an announcement echoed through the camp. One camper was missing.
Noah.
His bed was empty. His shoes were gone. His notebook lay open on the floor. The last thing he wrote. If we don't break the rule, it comes to us. If we do, we find the truth. 10. Decision. That night, Cabin 7 didn't sleep. At 11:59 p.m., Maya whispered, We can't just wait. Ethan swallowed. You mean I'll leave the cabin? Jake shook his head. That's the rule. Maya looked at the door. Rules don't exist to protect us, she said quietly. They exist to hide things. The bell rang. Midnight. The whisper returned. Closer than before.
Come.
Ethan stood up and reached for the door. Ethan's hand hovered over the door handle.
Cold.
Not just the metal. The air around it felt wrong, like the cabin itself was holding its breath. Ethan, Emily whispered. Please don't. The whisper outside came again. Closer. More impatient.
Come.
Maya stood up beside him. If we don't go, she said quietly, Noah stays gone. Jake swallowed hard. Or we disappear too. Liam finally spoke. There's something out there, and it wants us to choose. That was the worst part. It wasn't forcing them. 11. Breaking the rule. The door opened. Just a crack. Fog poured in immediately, thick and low, crawling across the floor like it was alive. The camp looked different at night. The trees leaned inward. The paths felt longer. The stars above were dimmer, like something was blocking the sky. They stepped outside. The cabin door closed behind them on its own. Emily gasped. Did anyone? No, Ethan said. They followed the sound. Not footsteps. Not breathing. A pull. Like gravity in the wrong direction. 12. The old trail. There was a trail on the camp map labeled Restricted Maintenance Access. None of the counselors had ever mentioned it. The fog grew thicker as they walked. Jake tried to joke. So, worst summer camp review ever, right? No one laughed. They reached a clearing. In the center stood an old cabin, half collapsed, rotting, forgotten. A sign hung crooked on the door. Cabin 0. Emily whispered. There was no cabin 0. The door was already open. 13. Inside cabin 0. The smell hit them first.
Dust. Mold.
Something metallic. Inside, the walls were covered in names.
Hundreds of them.
Scratched, carved, burned into the wood. Some fresh. Some so old they were barely readable. Maya ran her fingers over one. These are campers, she said. From different years. Ethan's chest tightened. Jake pointed to the far wall. There was a message written larger than the rest. Midnight is when they listen. 14. Noah's voice. They heard it. A voice. Noah's voice. Help me. Emily rushed toward the sound, but Liam grabbed her arm. Wait. The voice came again. This isn't a rescue, Liam said. It's a test. The floor creaked. Something moved in the shadows. Not a shape. An absence. Like darkness peeling itself off the walls. 15. The truth of the camp. The darkness spoke. Not with a mouth. With memory. Images flooded their minds. Teenagers from decades ago.
Crying.
Screaming. Running into the woods. Counselors watching. Doing nothing. Mr. Harlan younger. Ms. Green unchanged. The camp wasn't built for kids. It was built to contain something. And every summer, it was fed. 16. The choice. The darkness circled them. You break the rule, it whispered. And you learn the truth. You keep the rule. And you keep your lives. Maya shouted. Where's Noah? The darkness paused. Between, it answered. Jake fell to his knees. You use us, he said. Don't you? The thing didn't deny it. 17. The deal. A shape formed. Not human. Not monster. Just wrong. You may take one back, it said. But another must stay. Silence. Emily sobbed openly. Ethan felt sick. Why us? He demanded. The darkness leaned close. Because you were already broken, it whispered. We only finished the cracks. 18. Turning on each other. No one spoke. Then Jake laughed, hysterical. Okay, he said. Let's be honest. We all have something. Maya's eyes flashed. Don't. Jake continued anyway. Emily cuts herself. She writes goodbye letters. Emily screamed at him to stop. Liam watched his brother drown. Jake went on. And did nothing. Liam's face went pale. Maya ran away from home, Jake said, because she ruined someone's life. Maya slapped him
Hard.
And you, she said. Jake smiled sadly. I didn't think I mattered enough to be missed. The darkness listened, enjoying this. 19. Ethan's secret. Ethan stepped forward. I'll stay. Everyone turned. What? Emily cried. My parents don't even notice me, Ethan said quietly. This place already took Noah. Let it take me. The darkness considered, then smiled. Brave, it said. And unnecessary. The cabin shook. The walls screamed. 20. The counselors arrive. A flashlight beam cut through the darkness. Enough. Mr. Harlan's voice. Ms. Green stood beside him.
Angry.
Not scared. You weren't supposed to come here, she said. Maya stared at them. You let this happen. Mr. Harlan nodded. For decades. To keep it asleep, Ms. Green added. The darkness laughed. You failed, it said. 21. Noah returns. From the shadows, Noah stumbled forward.
Alive. But changed.
His eyes were wrong. Too empty.
He looked at them.
And smiled. I heard everything, he said softly. 22. Midnight isn't over. The bell rang again. But this time, it didn't stop. The forest screamed. The darkness surged outward. Cabin doors across the camp began to open. Teenagers stepped outside.
Sleepwalking.
Following the whisper.
Come.
Maya grabbed Ethan's hand. What do we do now? Ethan looked at the spreading darkness and understood. Midnight wasn't a time. It was a door. And it was finally open.